Hey, hello everybody. Welcome, good morning. This is the information session about our Masters of the faculty. So again, thank you for your interest in our Masters and for being here. This is a hybrid session, so we will be having people here face-to-face and most of you who are online. So that's why we need to warn you about this meeting being recorded. Because we always record these meetings because later we put them online on the website for those that might not be able to attend. Also because sometimes you want to recheck something is said, right? So this is interesting, that's why this is recorded. And therefore we need to let you know that if you participate at any moment, talking, sharing your video or talking by your mic, you will be recorded as well, okay? So acknowledge this fact if you participate. So without any more delay, let's just start with the main topic of today, which is our Masters. We will introduce the Faculty of Informatics to those of you who are not already students of the faculty. Then we will go through our main Masters. The Masters of the faculty that I'm going to focus more today are the May, MIRI, MDS, and MI, but I will also briefly mention another three in which we participate, but they are not our main Masters, okay? We will talk then about the prices and internships, mobility and internationalization, grants and aids, and research and innovation. All these points is just to warn you that besides the high quality of our masters that I will justify now, there are a lot of things that faculty can provide, and you as a prospective students should be aware of it, because if you decide to study a master at Phipp, it's interesting, you know, all the possibilities you may have, which are not few. There are quite a lot of interesting things. And one of the things that I always insist in these talks is that you should be aware that during the master you also need to build up a strong CV. This is interesting, okay? Obviously, everybody wants students with very high marks, but this is not the only thing that companies, research groups, and everything will check. So I will try to go there. And also it's important not only to work, also to socialize. That's why I will also talk about the community of the faculty, so social life, and some frequently asked questions. So let's start without more delay about the faculty. This is addressed to those of you who don't know the faculty or the university. Just to mention that we belong to UPC, Universitat Politècnica de Catalunya, which is a public higher education and research institution. By numbers, both in our bachelor's, master's, PhD, the number of students and so on is one of the biggest universities in Europe and one of the biggest in Spain as well. So being a public institution is important for us, right? Because this means that we are an independent institution that we can decide depending on what we think is best. So the rector and all the institutions are public, and then these positions are elected in a democratic way, considering even the students who you participate in these decisions, right? So the main pillars that address in a public institution is social responsibility, sustainability, equal opportunities, and cooperation and solidarity. And I want to stress this because many times I have questions like, I'm 40, do I have less chances to get into a master? Well, I'm 40, so I would say yes, of course, why not? But what I'm trying to say is that there is equal opportunities. You are not going to be judged with other aspects that are not especially regarded to what we are going to consider as a master student. So don't worry at all about these kind of things. Some indicators about UPC. The community is huge, so more than 23,000 bachelor students, more than 5,000 master students, 2,000 doctoral degree students. This is interesting because, as I will mention later, we are very strong from the research and innovation point of view, and this is something that is very in our ADN DNA about research and innovation in our masters. This is fairly common in all the masters, but also we have plenty of lifelong learning students. No? Plenty of bachelors, more than 65, 81 master programs, 45 doctoral programs. And if you see, also one of the most interesting things is that we have a huge turnover from research and development projects. Again, the research aspect of UPC is huge. Indeed, if we consider the H2020 projects, which are the cutting-edge technology and cutting-edge aspects of research in Europe, they are funded by the European Union. UPC is one of the top universities in Europe, raising funds from there. So you need to be very strong to do that. And we are #1 in South Europe and top 5, if I don't remember wrongly, in Europe. And the other aspect as well that UPC is strong at is our internationalization. We have strong connections everywhere, so we had more than 3,000 students participating in educational cooperation agreements. It means that you go to another university to study part of the degree, either bachelor or master. And we have plenty of connections with other universities. So we have connections with more than 40 countries where there are universities in these countries that may offer, depending on the master you choose, certain aspects that might be relevant. And if we focus on the Faculty of Informatics, this is the faculty inside UPC that focuses on computer science. Okay, it's a pretty young faculty. We considered when it was conceived. Its inception is in 1976, so around 40 years. But in these 40 years, faculty is one of the referent faculties in informatics in Europe. No? And again, here it's kind of a statement of proud that we have very high indicators that show that our faculty is considered systematically to be the best in Spain and one of the best in Europe. So where is the faculty? The faculty is in Barcelona. If any of you are not aware or not that familiar with Barcelona, Barcelona is not as big as big cities like Madrid or Paris or Rome. This means that even if we are a bit in the outskirts, as you can see here, this blue sign here, you can reach the city center in around half an hour, no? So by metro. So it's pretty well located, and we have a good surrounding, at least to breathe a bit between the lectures, which is good. Here you have the precise address if you want to check further details, and also our contact information, both the email. This email is generic for all the masters, so whenever you have a question about the masters you may want to take, feel free to ask questions there. We will be happy to answer these questions. You also have here our web, where you can find plenty of information related to the faculty, and our social networking. So here you can follow us in Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. We have plenty of channels where we try to share all the news related to the community. So as a faculty, what we provide and what we are trying to do is promote informatics engineering all over, because for us informatics is the means, right? It's not an end. It's just a way, it's a set of tools that we use to transform any other field. So we have two main objectives in our mission. First, to promote the dissemination of information technologies to contribute to society improvements. This is heavily related to what I said before. This is a public institution, so social good is important for us. And the second thing is provide a strong background to our students that they can use in their professional life. So what I mean with this, we prioritize lasting concepts. So computer science in general is a science. And as such, there are quite a lot of concepts that do not change in time. What changes is the things that we build on top of them. Every time we have more or higher abstraction levels where things look easier. But when you just dig in and go to the root, there are some concepts that has not changed in many years. No? So what is important here? It's important you understand the basics, the fundamental information, because from there you will be able to build well-sustained knowledge that you can make it grow, and you will understand to the essence any tool or system or framework you may want to use. As such, it's not only good to be a good computer science, you need to have additional horizontal skills. In this sense, we prioritize 3 of them. You need to be effective working. It means that in some of our masters, the semesters are pretty demanding, so it means that you really need to know how to work in an efficient way, because you will have a lot of things to do at the same time. All our masters are pretty hands-on, in the sense that our courses have theoretical aspects, but many labs, okay? Because you need to learn by doing as well, and then understand how the theory apply. So labs sometimes are demanding, right? Because you need to do reasonable or real practices that sometimes they are demanding. And also you need to know how to work in a team, and also how to learn on yourself, how to be autonomous, and how to be independent, also to grow further beyond of what we are going to provide in these masters. What we are going to provide in these masters is what I said, no? Fundamental concepts that you will be ready to go into research or the job market, but then from there on, you need to be self-sufficient to further learn on your own, right? And grow as a computer scientist. One important thing about our masters is that the faculty has been pioneer in accepting these kind of quality indicators. Basically, let me tell you that there are independent external organizations that they come and check the quality of our masters. It's not that I'm saying that they are very good, which they are, but also external organizations have been checking them and systematically giving us the highest quality label to our masters, right? In our case, there are two organizations that have been systematically checking our masters through what is called an internal quality assurance system. ACU and ENCA, one is local, the other one national, and the other one is international. And just to let you know that MIRI, and MAI, that are the three that could apply to the maximum label, these masters got it, which is called ACU Excellence, and this is the maximum level of excellence that you can get in a master. MDS is pretty new because it only started in September 2021, so we could not apply yet to this brand, but there is another evidence of quality is that MDS is the local implementation of the Erasmus Mundus Bdma. This is a reference master given by the European Commission in which we participate. So Bdma has been labeled as an excellence master by the European Commission, and MDS is the local implementation, so that we expect that when MDS can also apply to this label, it will not have any problem to get it, right? Because we already have it at the European level. So what do these organizations highlight about our masters? No? They generate some reports, and they highlight mainly three things, right? The program learning outcomes. Our alumni, they are very happy with what they learned and how they could apply it in real life. All our masters, depending on the master, I will explain now, but in most of them you can choose either to go to the job market or go to the research, and both of them, you will be well endorsed for this career. They also evaluate very positively our teaching staff. And the main reason is that all our lecturers are also researchers. So this means that they are participating in research projects, cutting-edge research projects, most of us in Ects 2020 projects or similar. So it means that we are just participating in big projects with top companies, top institutions, trying to solve problems that have not been tackled before, right? And somehow we are spreading all this knowledge in our courses. And finally, the learning support services and resources, so all the services that the faculty and the masters provide alongside your work, your path in the master. So if you need to choose the faculty, I may summarize all what is said in these 3 points. The first one is that we are systematically considered one of the top 10 computer science schools in Europe. We are the reference school in South Europe. It's pioneering both in Spain and in Catalonia. It's been the reference school in Spain and in Catalonia. We have always been the first one adapting to all the changes and things. In this sense, we are leading, and we want to keep leading. And we have been qualified by external organizations as an excellence center, okay, as an excellent faculty. All our masters have strong quality evidences. So as a student, you will get opportunities such as broaden your knowledge on latest trends and technologies in informatics, because we are very much into innovation and research. We will always be striving towards these new aspects that are being covered. Complete your education in a foreign university. This is something that I will encourage you to do as a student. Move away. This is very important. There are a lot of opportunities. I will give you more details. But moving away is highly estimated by companies, research groups, and so on, because you are learning another culture, you know how to move in another atmosphere. This is good, always positive. You can very easily start doing internships while doing your masters. This is pretty the case of our students, because they are highly considered by research groups and companies, so they are offered a lot of opportunities during these 2 years or year and a half, depending on the master. And our internships are typically paid. Okay, they are not for free, as sometimes happens. Okay, so you should be paid, and you are typically paid for internships. Our environment is international by nature. A fair share of students in our masters are foreigners, and I will give a few numbers later, but less than a half typically in some of the masters is local students, so the international atmosphere is good. We can also offer to take double master's degrees with foreign universities for some of these masters, which is a kind of an internationalization, which is a longer path, but you can get then 2 titles, the one local and then the other one from the other university. Collaborate with research centers. This is good because if you want to prove that you are a person with a strong innovation perspective, if you participate doing research, which in the end you can take it as a job, no? The only thing is that instead of regular processes that are well known, you are just trying to go into technologies that are not that well known, or you are trying to adapt new theory to the market or to the applications. And this is something very easy to do because, as I said, all the lecturers participate in research groups that they participate in strong research projects. We are always looking for people for our projects. It's very easy that you can participate in these kind of tasks. And of course, last but not least, the strong community of things from a social aspect that is happening around FIB. Do not diminish it because I think it's a good opportunity. I'm talking about the associations, student associations, the sport club, the cultural and international cooperations, things that we can provide, and in general, leisure activities that are also important, no? Not only studying, but also you need to grow as a person. From the professional point of view, what the companies appreciate about our students is that they are strongly equipped with strong skills that will allow you to be the person in charge many times to bring innovation and research to the company or to the organization. We also provide enough skills as to get into entrepreneurs or researchers. So you know that as a society, if you want to make it evolve towards more powerful aspects, you need to endorse your students with skills that allow them to be researchers, so bring innovation, bring new knowledge to the society, and also entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs are just shifting the economy, no? Trying to generate new value in the form of new companies. And these are pretty usual paths that our students follow. Most of our students end up in research and development departments, both in research centers and companies. Barcelona is famous nowadays because there are quite a few research and development centers of many companies worldwide that they set it here, and it means that there are good opportunities in this sense. And finally, an important one, our graduate employment is practically 100%. So indeed, the usual case nowadays is that before finishing the master, our students are either working or in a research group participating in real projects, and obviously get paid as well. Some numbers here. So this is about the faculty. So above 2,000 students, 3 bachelor degrees and 7 master degrees. Only in 1920 we graduated more than 400 people. And in general, we are above 10,000. If you look at the international partnerships, the numbers are bold. So we have more than 238 universities with which we have relationships, so you can go and study there. And this means around 43 countries. Okay. And finally, just to close this first chapter about the faculty, if we also look at international rankings that are also generated by independent actors, we are systematically ranked as first university in computer science in Spain and top in the world. These numbers are worldwide, no? So we can be ranked even below 50, but in any case, always top 100 worldwide, which is something, considering that we are a public institution and many of the universities in front are the powerful private universities in the States or the UK, right? So let's go now to our masters. I will go by order, in this order. We'll start with the engineering, master in engineering informatics, and then go on, okay? So this is the list of masters, here ordered by alphabetically with no other meaning. So basically we have the master in artificial intelligence, informatics engineering, which has a special modality, which is called industrial modality, that I will explain in a minute. The Master in Innovation and Research in Informatics is a master with 4 specializations. This one, you need to choose the specialization from the beginning. You don't choose it during the master, but when you apply to the master. And we have 4 intensifications, right? Is when you go very deep into these 4 aspects. So you have advanced computing, computer graphics and virtual reality, computer networks and distributed systems, and finally, high performance computing. Then we have the Master in Data Science, and then the last three that we will present are these three: Master per a Professorat Secundària. This is a master to be a lecturer at the high school level, right? Then we have 2 European Masters. One I already mentioned, because the Erasmus Mundus Master in Big Data Management and Analytics is the reference master given by the European Union in the aspect of data science and big data. This is strongly related with the Master in Data Science, right? Our Master in Data Science is the local implementation of this Erasmus Mundus. And then we have a second one, which is the European Master in High Performance Computing, that again, this is the reference European Master in High Performance Computing that it's tightly related to our specialization inside MIRI of high performance computing. Okay. You have here a link where you can just go there and know more about when the specific information in sessions about these masters happen. Today I will just go a bit broad. So some of them already had the talks. But if you are interested, for example, MIRI is going to take place this afternoon. We will talk about MIRI at 4 p.m., okay, specific for MIRI. Then how to navigate the Phipp website, because we have a wealth of information there, okay? First, our information website is the masters.phipp.upc.edu, and here for each master you will have a rationale of why to take this master, what is the precise curriculum, the employment opportunities, what the admission commission is going to check in order to accept you or not in this master, and then general information about the faculty. Also, here you can find also several general discussion about the international prestige of our faculty, grants, and also about the city. Specific for each master, what I would recommend you to go is to the faculty website. There you have more details. For example, when the lectures happen, what are the exam calendar, and things like that are more specific of people who are taking the master, but sometimes you, before taking the master, you would like to know a bit more about this kind of information, right? So feel free to go there and find things about how the enrollment works, the detailed curriculum and syllabus, the academic regulations, timetables and exams. All this is publicly available there. There are 2 other websites that you may be interested in. One is administrative procedures. So all the procedures you as a student you may need to go through, they are explained in this slide. And another one is the academic calendar. So what you will find there, so when is elective period, so when you are going to take lectures, when it's holiday, when there are breaks, this kind of information is already there, okay? So this is a snapshot from the masters.phipp.upc.edu. Here you can see that for each master we have a different box. Here MIRI is separated into specializations, because the 4 specializations of MIRI are quite different. That's why each of them is considered as a master, even if the 4 of them belong to the same master. MIRI is a single master. The only thing is that when you start, you kind of branch, right, and take the specialization you like. So here you can find the information, the precise information. And in case you are interested in the general information sessions, well, you are already attending one, but what I told you, there is a specific information session still missing that you may be willing to attend, is today at 4 for MIRI. So what is the procedure if you want to take a master at UPC? This is common for all the masters at UPC, not only for the faculty. So whenever you want to take a master at UPC, you need to go through these 6 steps. The first one is to register, obviously. You need to register, introduce your personal academic information. You need to pay then a tax that is of 30 euro. At this moment, your application is sent to the academic commission that will evaluate if you are acceptable or not for the master. Okay? The academic commission will give you an output. And then if you need to check it online, there is a way where you go and check, it's an internal website of UPC where you check the decision of the admission, and then if everything went well and you are accepted, you must accept the place. And this is something important because you actively need to do something to accept the position, right? If you don't do so after a certain period, we will consider that you are not interested in taking the position, and we will assign to someone else your position. So important, you need to accept it, okay? What is the way to accept it? Okay, first saying yes in a website, but then the second thing is paying this 300 euro, which is not a tax. This 300 euro is part of your first enrollment, and it will be deducted from the 300 euros, will be deducted from the price you need to pay for your first enrollment. It's just a way to anticipate some money so that we can be sure that you are interested in the master and you are taking the position, right? Because some of our masters have a waiting list. It means that there are more people applying the positions. So it's important for us that if for whatever reason someone who was assigned a position doesn't take it, we can go to the waiting list and let another student take the opportunity. That's why we have this €300 to guarantee your seat, otherwise we will move on in the waiting list. And if you follow up to the 5th step, then the last one is to do the proper enrollment in the faculty. There is one day when you enroll. Typically enrollment means you choose the courses you are not going to follow the next semester, right? And if it's the first time, sometimes you need to provide some original documents that I will explain in a while exactly how this works. This procedure, I repeat, is common for all UPCs, not specific of the faculty, and you have here a link where all the details, you can find all the details. Important dates. For the pre-enrollment, this is, in pre-enrollment I mean, here, it's step number 1. When you register and enter your personal information, you need to do it before the 27th of May. This is the very last moment you can apply to our masters. Okay. There are 2 admission periods. One that ended, or it's already passed, that ended in the 22nd of April. For those people applying then, we are going to notify their outcome this or next week. And then there is a second period that you are still fully on time. Don't worry either, because the typical question I get is, do you have more chances if you apply in the first period? No, it's not that we are going to consume all the positions in the first period. This never happens. We always try to balance it, so people who apply later, they also have a chance. So even if the master had more applications than positions in the first period, we always keep a fair amount of them to be filled in the second period, to acknowledge this unbalance. For some masters, if they are not full by the end of 27th May, we open a third period. But this depends on the master and the number of seats available. Okay. The other question that you typically have is, well, what is the admission commission going to check for each master? This is available, publicly available, because we must inform about this. And this is the master's website. If you go to the admission option, you will see that there is an option checking what are the usual bachelors that people apply to this master, and what are the conditions that the commission is going to check. And here I would like to stop for a second just to remind that many times you have the wrong impression that marks are the only thing that we are going to check. If we only check marks, there would be no admission commission. We would have just one of our algorithms, that takes automatically people or sort them by mark and takes top 40, right? And this is not going to happen. What we do there in the commission is that we check that you as a student, you're going to provide value to the cohort in which you are going to participate. What things we typically check? That you are a person eagerly interested in learning new things, in participating in different stuff, that you are participating in other related topics that may bring value, datathons, hackathons, you are working, you are participating in research. You should be a person that we know that are going to bring value to the cohort. And another thing that is interesting for us, and we strive for it, is diversity. Don't assume that we are expecting a typical student and we are only going to accept clones of this profile. This is not the case. One of the things that we promote in this faculty is diversity, because each of you have excellent attitudes that will be interesting, right? And some of our masters, they are extremely diverse in this sense. So don't assume that the marks is the only thing we are going to consider. Try to apply and express in the application what are your strengths beyond your marks and your bachelor, and try to understand, checking the admission criteria, what we are going to check. This is fairly well explained, I would say, but if you have any doubt when doing your application, feel free to contact us to know how to express whatever aspect you may not be fully sure about it. So to start the pre-enrollment, you need to go to the master's website, click on the master you are interested, and then if you scroll down, you will find this thing that is, I put in a snippet here. Here you need to click in the pre-enrollment button, and it's pretty fair and easy to follow, right? So you click here, there are some instructions, just follow them, okay? And basically what you will need to do is follow the instructions, and at the end, when you introduce all the information, only at the end, the button to pay the tax will appear. Be careful, because this is a usual question we have, because people say, yeah, the button doesn't appear. It's because some missing information is there. You need to introduce some other information, okay? Then when you pay the tax is when your application is sent to the commission of the master that will evaluate it, and you will get an information, okay? And always when you apply, you have a tentative date of when this is going to happen. If you want to learn more, again, UPC has a very well-explained procedure, which is the link here. So what happens exactly in our faculty, how we deal with admission? So you have already paid, you have sent your application to the master you are interested in. So the outcome that you may receive from the commission is one of these four: accept, reject, postpone, or waiting list. Okay. Since you are not in time to apply to the first period, so you are in this case, you will get as an answer, accept, waiting list, or reject. What is the meaning of this? So, well, just to insist on this, if you apply by the 27th, see that we try to answer in a week. This is just to let you plenty of time to know in which master you are going to participate next year, plan ahead, no? So this is one of our interests, that you know where you are going to participate. If you receive an accept, it means that you are into the master, so congratulations. Then the only thing you need to do is simply accept in the website, pay the €300, and they will inform you, when to do the enrollment. Then you do the enrollment as usual you did in your bachelor, no? There is a day for the enrollment, and that day, the price that you need to pay, it will be deducted the €300 you paid before, okay? So it's not lost, this money, it's only just to guarantee the seat. Waiting list means that you are accepted, your profile is good for the master, but since we need to prioritize, you were not in the top ranking entering the master. This does not mean that you don't have an opportunity. Typically in our masters and in general, what happens is that people might be changing their mind or going to another place, moving to another country, whatever. Things happen, right? So around 5 to 10%, depending on the master, of people who were accepted declined the master for whatever reason. So we move to the waiting list, okay? So if you are in the waiting list, during the first week of June, you may hear from us, and then transform this waiting list into an accept, and then you need to follow the process as it is. If you get a reject, it's because we acknowledge that the background you have might be not enough to follow the master. That's the reason to get a reject. If you have a good background and you are acknowledged to have a good background, you will be, in the worst case, in the waiting list. So the reject is only when we see that it's dangerous to accept you in the master, and you may struggle taking that master, no? So in order to avoid frustrations or avoid problems, it's better to just reject at that moment, and that's it. So in the rest of the slide, what I said by words, you have here the semantics, no? Accepted, postponed, waiting list, and rejected, what they mean, no? What I just said by words. Let's just start with the masters now, no? So the first one I will talk about is Master in Informatics Engineering. This is the master that is equivalent to what in the past was called Engineering Informatica, that I don't know if you were aware that before Bologna, the bachelor was 5 years, right? Now with Bologna, the bachelor is 4 years. So this master is the one that was created to, after taking the bachelor, and this master is equivalent to the former Engineering Informatica, so the old 5 years degree. This is also what we call the equivalent to habilitant. Habilitant is again a local word that those of you who are not locals might not be familiar with, but basically what habilitant means is that for certain positions in Spain, you need to have a certain degree, right? So in certain positions to be in informatics, the one that they are going to check you have is this master, this degree. Unfortunately, since this is not fairly regulated, because informatics in Spain yet is not regulated as other positions, this is still doesn't have the same equivalence as habilitant, for example, in architecture. You cannot build a building without having an habilitant master in architecture, right? This is not exactly the same, but this is going to be modified in the future. Hopefully, informatics in the near future will be regulated as the other engineers, and then this will be the reference master, just to inform you about it. This master got the maximum excellence label from the independent external quality organizations, Equine and ACU, both of them. And to enter this master, you need to prove either Spanish or Catalan to B2. One of the two, you need to have this level of Spanish or Catalan to start this master, because this master, the lectures are either in Catalan or Spanish. Okay. This is a master of 90 ECTS, so it means it's 1.5 years, right? So 3 semesters, and it has a strong professional orientation. So it means that when you take this master, typically it's the master that you would take if later you are thinking of going to a company and have a management position in a company. So that's why, if you realize from the 45 mandatory ECTS you need to take in this master, 36 are purely computer science or IT if you want, but 9 are of management. Management means that you will be learn how to do project management, or how to do lead teams, or also how to assess a CS project from the business perspective. Okay, so there is there is a fair amount of training or courses into the management part, right? Which is not purely CS, but needed to reach into management positions into companies. Besides the 45 mandatory ECTS, you have 15. What does it mean that you have 15 elective courses, ECTS? These are courses where you specialize in whatever you like. I always say that May is a master where you will get a width view of the computer science ecosystem. So you will have courses spanning high-performance computing, data science, artificial intelligence, so on and so forth. So you are looking at the width, right? So what is out there and can be used to apply innovation into the company. So you are learning a bit of everything, so that when you get to the company, you are knowledgeable about AI, data science, high-performance computing, distributed systems, software engineering, advanced computing, whatever, right? And then you decide how to bring innovation into the company, focusing on this. Since you may have an interest in one way or another, so in these elective courses, you need to decide which are these aspects from them all that we are covering in this master that you would like to consider. And finally, we have a master thesis of 30 ECTS. Master thesis in all our masters are something serious. I mean, you will be proved to be a very active person, tackling an important and relevant project and succeeding. Okay, so you will see that most of our masters, the master thesis is 30 ECTS. Also, there is a strong management orientation, because also in the elective courses you also may take additional management courses. In this master, you can have, or you can participate in industrial agreements. What does it mean? You can take internships. I will explain in a while how you take internships in our masters. But when you go to an internship, typically you do it through an agreement between the faculty and the company. This is the safest option for you, and I will insight on this in a few minutes. But also you can just have your own contract because you are already working in a company, and then you can recognize your professional experience. I will also explain in a while the details about it, but it means that you can get elective courses about the internship you are taking or the professional experience you are taking. Okay, so you can recognize ECTS with these two things. Okay? This is it because this master has a strong professional orientation, and we acknowledge that you may want to work or start doing internships to get a stronger position, no? When you finish the master. And also, depending on your profile, you may evaluate, the commission may evaluate that you need to take some other courses before taking the master. This is what we call complementary courses. The profile that we expect for this master is someone with a bachelor in computer science. But sometimes there are other degrees that are pretty like a computer science degree, where you can get also some basics about it. This is fine for us. You can take this master if you are not a computer science student, but took a degree that covers the fundamentals. But in some cases, you come from a degree that it's close to computer science, but has some gaps, right? For example, it's pretty usual, people applying to this master, that they don't cover the internals of the hardware part, no? Architecture of computers or operating systems. In this case, you may need to take some complementary courses. If we acknowledge that you are well covered from software engineering, from programming and all these things, so we will ask you to take some complementary courses. These complementary courses are additional to the master. So it means that before starting the master, you will need to take these courses. Before taking certain courses of the master, you will not be allowed till you finish with these complementary courses, okay? And then let me take this master as an example. If you go to masters, to our website, this is what you are going to see for all of them. This is, again, I'm taking the example of Master in Informatics Engineering. One of the things that you may want to check is the admission option that I said before, which is here, but also the curriculum. I think it's an important thing you may need to check in order to see if this master is what you are looking or expecting. So you see this block here is the mandatory ECTS you need to take. Okay, these ones here in, well, I don't know what is this, a strong orange or a red or something like that, right? So, and then the elective ones are in blue. So we have blocks. The block of management, this is not purely computer science. This is thought for managing teams, managing projects, these kind of things, assessing the value of your project from a business point of view. And two of these courses are mandatory. You have viability of innovative business projects and strategic planning and IT governance, right? But then you may take others as elective. You have 4 more to choose from. And then from the information technologies block, there are 6 of them that are mandatory. And again, since this is May, this is on width. So you will see that this is pretty varied. You have high performance computing, development and management of information systems, internet security, multimedia and content distribution, interactive graphic systems, embedded and ubiquitous systems, computing intelligence systems, right? But then with the electives, you can specialize, like digital identity, Internet of Things, data visualization, data mining, so on and so forth, okay? So what you should plan when choosing this master is what courses you are going to take, because it's important that depending on the electives you take, your profile will be quite different. So plan ahead, check the website, what are my interests, and plan what are the courses you want to take, because importantly, at Phipp, not all the courses are offered every semester. There are courses that are only offered one semester. So you may need to plan to be sure that you just align your studies with this course, okay? And then at the end, you have the master thesis, right? So I think that this is important that you check there the details. Nevertheless, then we will have a question. So if you want to know anything about the curriculum of any of the masters, feel free to ask. I will happily answer these kind of questions. And as I told you, May also has an industrial modality. What is this? So what we identified in the faculty is that a fair share, very large share of students taking May, they also work at the same moment, either in internships or in contracts with companies. So we develop an alternative, which is still May. You get the regular May title, but it's thought to reconcile your work with your academic studies, right? So this is what we call an intensive training academic professional master or modality, and focuses on project management and team leadership. We will be stronger because in the regular May, it's up to you to choose, for example, courses on management in the elective part. No, here you will see that it's a bit more. There is less freedom when choosing than in the other. This option means that you will not finish the master in 1.5 years, but in 2 years. So you need an extra semester. But the good thing is that during all the semesters, you will have time to work or to do your internship. And in order to reconcile it, we guarantee the following points. We guarantee that a maximum of 4 or 5 hours per day will be dedicated to Phipp. Okay, so just studying 4 to 5 hours per day should be enough to follow this master in this modality. These 4 or 5 hours per day can be either face-to-face here in the faculty because you are taking a course, or working at home. So for those hours that you need to take here face-to-face, we compact them in 3 afternoons. So you don't even need to come to the university every day. With 3 afternoons is enough. So we compact all the face-to-face lectures in 3 afternoons from 2 to 8 p.m. So we free the morning where you typically work at the company or you do your internship. I insist, still you need to work at home, because it means that you will have labs, practices, and so on. So the other 2 days that you are not coming from home, you should still work on your courses. Okay. The rest of the time, around 5 hours per day, should be dedicated to your work or your internship in your company in the morning, typically. Okay. Here I put a kind of a slide with specific courses. This may be valuable for you when you check in detail later the slides and you check these courses. You will see that the regular May, which is the one with the orange color, in the first semester you take 30 CTS, in the second you take 30 CTS, and in the third semester you also take 30 CTS. So in 1 year and a half you're done. Okay. And here is what we are proposing typically with the mandatory courses and then the optional courses that you may take. No, in the second one it would be 3 mandatory elective courses and 1 in the first one. But look, if you take the Modalitat Empresa, so the modality where you stretch it to 2 years, so you will not be doing elective courses. The elective courses will always be recognized from your internship or working experience. So you take the mandatory courses distributed in this way throughout 3 semesters. And the way to obtain your elective courses is always via the internship and your working experience, professional experience recognized as credits, elective credits. So all your elective credits, all come from your work at the company. That's why this is meant to facilitate that you want to work there. Sometimes the question I get is, well, I'm not interested in starting working from now. Which one do you recommend? If you are not interested in working from the beginning, go to the regular one. Then you have freedom to take courses on whatever you like, and still you can also take internship at any moment. And you can change from one to the other at any moment as well. Okay, you don't need to stay or make this choice at the beginning. Okay. Also, the other thing that we are expecting is that if you are in the Modalitat Empresa, your master thesis is going to be at a company. Translated to our jargon, this is modality B or D. Modality B is a master thesis that takes place in a company, and D is a master thesis that takes place in a company, but it's a foreigner one. So you are moving to somewhere else, abroad. Okay. So if we realize what you are doing in the industrial modality is that 48 ECTS are coming from courses from Phipp, and the other 42 ECTS come from the company. 30 come from the master thesis that you are going to take it at the company, and 12 because you are recognizing 12 credits either from your internship or from your working experience. Okay. So in total, you are doing the 90 ECTS. You are getting the same May title, but with a strong industrial connotation. Okay. Whoop. The next master that I will discuss now is MIRI. MIRI is our Master in Innovation and Research. This master has a very strong perspective in innovation and research. What does it mean? That either you will go to do a PhD afterwards, or you will go to a company where innovation and research is highly acknowledged, either a research center in any company, or where innovation is key in this company, right? So this is the kind of thing. We have 4 specializations in the field of informatics. We don't go to any aspect, so there are 4 aspects where we incite here. Advanced computing, so how to go to the cutting edge technologies in computing and resolve strong problems that typically you could not do. For example, I don't know if you realize that there are day-by-day problems that from a computational point of view, they are extremely complex. For example, deciding the fixtures of the football league, it's very complicated, no? Because what you need to guarantee is that everybody is meeting the same team twice as a home and a host, and then you need to guarantee that this is happening in every day of competition, right? So this is what we call in computer science an NP-complete problem, which means that has no easy solution. So you need to have very smart techniques to solve this kind of problems. Another one is logistics. which now is very common, no? All of you buying Amazon or similar, right? Have you ever thought what is the optimal way that a lorry, when it's leaving Amazon headquarters, is the best, minimizing the time to distribute all the things? This is graph theory. And this is just another NP-complete problem that again, you need very smart algorithms, okay? So when we talk about advanced computing, what we are talking is about advanced problems that most times they are common, that we don't realize how hard they are, but many companies rely on them, or their operations rely on these problems. No? So at this moment, what you are training this advanced computing is to this kind of very advanced, cutting-edge algorithms, very efficient to tackle very complex problems. Okay. The second one is computer graphics and virtual reality. And typically when I talk here, people ask me about video games. Well, video games is one of the part, but computer graphics are everywhere nowadays. No? So one of the things that here you can learn is how to create projects to visualize the typical monuments that there might be a city if you want to create what is called digital twins. No, it's just a representation in a digital world that someone from home with a 3D glasses could just experience the same as visiting the museum. No, if you check nowadays, especially from COVID, many museums, many monuments are developing this kind of solution, right? Or avatars. Now, if I have a company of, I don't know, furniture, and I want to just let someone to buy a mirror, that it's an intelligent mirror that just you can just get and improve your shirt without really taking it, just putting it in front of the mirror. No, this is graphics again. You need to put it on top of the person, and just you need to create an avatar, a 3D avatar of this person, and then be able to experience things without really happening. No, this would be virtual reality. The third one is computer networks and distributed systems. The last two specializations are more at the level of hardware, or how to create very efficient hardware to facilitate common problems again. No? So, but they are distributed in two different specializations. Computer networks and distributed systems, they focus on distribution. You can think of cloud computing, internet, all this. So we need to start or keep doing research on how to improve the baseline, no? Because the hardware is essence, because everything is built on top of that, no? So how to create this kind of system, these distributed systems, that every time they are more efficient, that they can deal with more and more elements. So nowadays with the 5G networks, everything is software again. So the telecommunications field has been completely standardized from the software point of view. But can you now imagine billions of devices connecting to the networks? This is a challenge, right? So there is here a lot of work to do still to develop complex networks and distributed systems. And the last one, the high performance computing, here we talk about architectures that are related to the supercomputing, right? This specialization is very related to the Barcelona Supercomputing Center. And what here we learn is how to use cutting-edge supercomputing technologies to facilitate hard problems. Because what happens in computer science is that many problems are so hard that we cannot find efficient algorithms. So what we need is muscle. No? We need very strong hardware to solve some of these problems. So in high-performance computing, we center in this kind of supercomputing solutions. MIRI, like May, has the highest level of quality. It's ACU Excellence in Equine as well. This master is in English, okay? So you need to provide a V2 level in English, and it's 2 years, 120 ECTS. There are 30 common compulsory ECTS that are common for whatever specialization you take. I insist that the specialization you take it when you enroll first time, eh? So you start knowing which is your specialization here. But these 30 common compulsory are common for all of them, because when you do research on innovation, there are a lot of things that are common regardless of the field. For example, how to do strong experiments. This is common. Doesn't matter what of the 4 you are going there. You will do experiments always in a rigorous and following the paradigm of science, right? So this needs to be learned regardless of where you are going to do here. So that's why we have 30 common compulsory courses, SCTS here. So they are courses that are meant to foster the innovation and research aspects of your profile to follow the master. Then there are 48 specialization credits that depends on the specialization. Depending on the specialization, you take one or other, but they are fixed, they are set, you cannot choose them. What you can choose is 12 elective ECTS that depends on the master that you, on the specialization that you chose. Okay, there are a set of elective courses that you may choose one or another. Interestingly, what we allow you to do is that in these elective courses, you may take specialization courses of another specialization you didn't take. Okay, this is something that you typically want to do, and this is perfectly fine. And finally, we have the 30 master theses. Okay, so I included here the 4 URLs to the websites where we explain each of these specializations. Okay, again, they have a very strong innovative and research connotation. So what we are striving here is that you want to learn very deep into these topics to have a huge impact in the market, in a research environment, whatever. MIRI also acknowledges industrial agreements like May. It means that you can compensate or certificate elective credits either by internships or by professional experience, like in May, exactly the same thing. So here realize that there are 12 elective ECTS in MIRI. You could take these 12 elective only from working experience or internships. You can do that. Okay. And finally, like in May, depending on the specialization, you may be asked to take some courses before starting the master. So you enroll in the master, you are already starting in the master, but there will be some courses in the master that you cannot take till you finish the complementary courses. Okay, like in May, it's the same idea. You will see that some of these ideas repeat from master to master. The next one is the Master in Data Science. This is one of our last brand new master, started in September 2021. This is our flagship Master in Data Science that is very much aligned with the Erasmus Mundus Master in Data Management and Analytics. This Erasmus Mundus Master is certified by the European Commission as the flagship and reference master in Europe in data science. So we are participating in this reference master. And the Master Data Science is the local implementation of it. So it means that if you take the local master, for example, during the second semester, you will be doing exactly the same ECTS and indeed sharing the lecture halls with the Bdma students. So you are all together during this period. For the rest, you are doing courses that are aligned with the Bdma and exactly in the same profile. So we are following all the lessons learned from this European experience. And what makes this Master in Data Science unique or different to other data science masters out there? That there is a big problem nowadays with data scientists. There is a huge gap of jobs not filled. In the last report of the European Commission, they were estimating that 500,000 jobs positions are not filled in Europe in this area, which is huge and moving a lot of money. But we have a problem. The European Commission was complaining that the common data science masters out there were too strict in the sense that they were focusing only on the analytical part. And many data scientists finishing these masters were not able to create systems. And what the companies want is that you are able to embed analysis into processes that they can put in production into their systems, right? They want to benefit of this in their IT systems. So this is the distinctive aspect of Bdma, and MDS also inherits it. You will be trained in 2 aspects, data management and data analytics. Data management means that you will be able to create very complex ecosystems of data, what we call big data nowadays, right? Ingesting huge amounts of data at a very high pace and also with a lot of variety in the form. But also you will be heavily trained in doing advanced analytics. Okay, so you need to know what is the best way to tackle a problem from a learning perspective. And here again, we are unique in the sense that we acknowledge 2 schools to do analytics. Statistics, okay, more closer to the mathematical part, and this is what typically has been known as data mining. But we also tackle it from a computer science perspective, which you may have heard of it as machine learning. In this master, you are introduced to both families of communities, and you will see that each of these communities has pros and cons. and they need to learn from each other. So that's why we really take seriously to form you in these two lines of knowledge and also complement each other. This master, still, since it's pretty new, the local one has not yet been accredited by our local and international organizations, but as I said, this master is already accredited at the European level because of Bdma. This is a master also fully taught in English, so you need to also provide an English B2 certificate, and it's 120 ECTS, so 2 years. This is 54 mandatory ECTS, 36 elective. There is a large share of elective courses here because data science is a huge domain. So there is data science applied to some fields that are very trendy nowadays. For example, we can talk here about bioinformatics or genetics, right? So we have a course specific on how to do data science, which tools of data science apply to this field, or how to use data science into logistics, transportation, how to move goods around in an efficient way. So there are courses that are applied, bioinformatics, health, transformation. Health is also a big thing now in data science. But we also have a lot of courses from the fundamentals. You may want to learn, I don't know, how to tackle learning from a Bayesian point of view. So we have courses that cover this Bayesian statistics, which is another way to understand statistics to the traditional one. So this is the block of deep dive in specific aspects of data science. Here we go into the very deep into some aspects that you may want to learn. And also data science has a strong aspect in innovation and research. So data science requires that you know how to do research and how to bring innovation, because data science is equivalent to innovation. You know, companies typically start a data science project when they want to bring something that is very distinct or different to the competence. No? This master, this is unlike the other two, does not recognize internships and professional experience. So you cannot claim elective ECTS. The only thing you can do here is you can do internships, you still can do them, but they will be extracurricular, so you cannot claim ECTS for it. The only way in this master to claim claim ECTS as part of an internship is in the master thesis. This is perfectly fine because a lot of students do it. So you can take the 30 ECTS of your master thesis in a company, and then you can sign an internship agreement or do it with a regular contract, working contract, and then you can recognize this internship or this working contract as part of your master thesis. In this master, there are no complementary courses considered, so you need to meet the background we expect. If you go to the website of the master and check the admissions, you will see what I mean, but basically there are two big entry lines in data science, because data science is very multidisciplinary. You know, we accept computer science students from a bachelor in computer science, but we also accept students coming from mathematics, statistics, physics, and any other bachelor who is strong in mathematics, typically any engineering. So industrial engineering, civil engineering, they are fine. This is usual entry points for us, right? So what we expect from this is that they have been exposed at least to the basics of computer science. So they know how to program and some basics on computer science, right? If you have doubts, if your background fits the data science master or not, the easiest thing is drop me an email, okay? And I can assess you if you are a good fit or not for this master. The last one is the MIRI. MIRI is an inter-university master in artificial intelligence. So this means that this master offers an integrated perspective on artificial intelligence, but covering different universities. Again, has the maximum accreditation of quality, like all other masters, and the taught language is English. B2 certificate is required as well. Okay. This master, though, is 1.5 years. So here you can take 30 compulsory credits and then 42 elective. What are the intensifications in the Master in Artificial Intelligence? Well, these intensifications allow you to specialize in one way of how to do artificial intelligence. There are many of them, So one of them is very close to data science, so using data to make decisions. This is one of the intensifications, but you have 6 more, no? Multi-agent systems. Agent systems and human-computer interaction is how to embed software into day-by-day actions to help or support users, no? Or humans. This is what is understood by multi-agent systems, and then you need something like human-computer interaction. Then we have another specialization, which are hot topics in AI and professional practice, which is more a kind of an intensification from the application aspect. Knowledge engineering and machine learning, how to learn and specify knowledge so just systems or machines can act as if they were smart, right? Modeling, reasoning, and problem solving. This is another way of tackling artificial intelligence, is from modeling knowledge in first order logics, for example, and then performing reasoning on it. And finally, robotics, which is another trendy aspect in artificial intelligence nowadays. So the artificial intelligence master is inter-university. This means that you don't take all the courses at UPC. You take courses at Phipp, at UPC here, but also at UB, Universitat of Barcelona, and also in Rovira i Virgili. And the share is 33% in each of the universities. So it means that during your studies, at least one day per week, you need to go to Tarragona, to Rovira i Virgili to do the studies. Please acknowledge this because it's an inter-university master, okay? So not all the courses are taken at Phipp. Some of these courses are taken at the other 2 universities. UB is not a big deal because it's in the city, and well, it's not a big deal. With metro you can get there, but Rovira i Virgili is in Tarragona, okay, in the south of Catalonia. MIRI also allows industrial agreements like MIRI and MAI, so you can take internships and you can acknowledge your professional experience with elective credits, and also you may need complementary courses to take this master. When you check the website of the Master in Artificial Intelligence, you will say that for each course, it tells you with an icon in which university is taken. Okay? You will see that there are mandatory courses that are at UB, URV, or UPC, but then the elective courses as well. So for the mandatory, you cannot do anything. You need to move throughout the 3 universities, but for the elective courses, depending on the elective courses you take, you may, then it's up to you to focus more on one faculty or another. And then just to finalize, just a very quick overview on other masters we have. The first one is Màster per al Professorat de Secundària. This is a master taught in Catalan and Spanish. This master is if you want to be a lecturer at the high school level. So if you want to be a lecturer at the high school level, you need to take this master in order to get the skills and then apply later to the following steps, okay? Besides Catalan and Spanish, you need to credit a 3rd language. It can be English, French, another language, but at the B1 level, okay? It's face-to-face, and there are 2 branches. What is called technology for ESO and Bachillerat. For those of you who are not familiar with the local structure, ESO and Bachillerat is how we distribute our high school studies. So there are 2 paths, and you may want to be a lecturer in technology in any of these 2 paths. And the other one is industrial technologies. This is for what we call Formació professional, which is a kind of another, it could be the parallel option to the universities. No, this exists in many countries worldwide, and this is just a way when you want to put a very focused in a professional aspect. This master is accredited as well, and this is a truly habilitant master in the sense that you really need to take this master to be a high school lecturer, and this is 1-year master, 60 CTS, although we also acknowledge that many people are doing other things when taking this master, so there is a slow track that could be kind of similar to the industrial modality in May, no? So you have here the link for further information. To apply to this master, this is the only master that you should not apply following the procedure I mentioned before. This master has a different way of applying, which is this link here, and typically you need to do 2 steps, one in July and the other one in September. So still, this follows a completely different calendar, okay? So this is what I mentioned here. Pre-registration is end of July to mid-September via this link up here, okay? And then there are information sessions specific for this master in July and September. The next master we participate, the two that are remaining now are European masters, okay? As I told you, our university has a very strong reputation in Europe and worldwide, so we are always participating in initiatives that appear at the European level to have the reference master at a certain topic, no? So we participated in this initiative, which is an Erasmus Mundus. This is a master taught by University Livre de Brussels, UPC, Universitat di Padova, Technical University of Eindhoven, and Paris-Saclay in France. And this is the reference master at the European level in data science and big data. It's accredited as the flagship master in this topic. And you have also grants here. You may want to apply for grants. If you want to start this master in September, you are late for the grants because the Erasmus Mundus have a very early calendar. So to apply to grants, you apply from September to December to start the other September, right? So to start in September 22, people apply to the grants in September 21 to December 21, right? The calendar is very early. But there is a second period where you can apply as a self-funded student. So it means that you apply as a regular student without a grant. That starts from March to June, and you are still on time. However, since this is a European master, still you should not follow the procedure to apply as a regular master. You need to follow the instructions in this link here, okay? There is a specific website to apply. This is a 2 years master, and the structure is very similar to the Master of Data Science because our local Master of Data Science is the local implementation of this European master, okay? This is the schedule of Bdma, and here is where you need to apply this link up here. Well, there are the thing about Bdma I forgot to say is that you need to move every semester. So the first semester is in Brussels, in Belgium. The second semester is at UPC, and here is when you mingle with the local Masters of Data Science. Then there is a summer school, a European Master of Summer School that all the students need to apply, and every year it's in one different location in Europe. And then you specialize. You can go to the Netherlands, to France, or to Italy, depending on what is your interest. So if you want to do data analysis on processes, if you want to do what I would say traditional machine learning, which is in France, and the analysis from a statistical point of view is in Padova. And then you can do the master's thesis and so on and so forth. And the last one that I'm presenting today is the European Union for High Performance Computing. This is, again, is the same idea. It's a European initiative. So Europe from time to time identify important aspects in computer science, and they promote it with flagship masters so that the other faculties in Europe can emulate it, no? So for the high performance computing, this is the master, and we participate as a faculty together with 7 other additional European universities. Well, the leading is University of Luxembourg here, but Politecnico Milano. Don't make me pronounce some of the names here. You have them here listed. And then this is also like the Master of Bdma. It's accredited by the European Commission. Okay. They also have grants, and you still may be on time to apply to these grants because the deadline to apply for this master is the 15th of May. Okay. This master at the local level maps to the local specialization in MIRI of high performance computing. Okay. But this is at 120 CTS, a 2 years master, and if you want to know more, here you have the European, the master link. Again, like Bdma and the Master of Secundària, to apply to this master, you need to do it through the consortium website. It's not through the faculty or local UPC procedures. And with this, I would finish all the overview of the masters. What I would like to let you know is that you may have questions beyond that. If you have if you have administrative questions, like for example, how do I apply? What kind of document I need to apply for this kind of information that I am asked here? Use the general information link, email, InfoMasters. There our team of masters will inform you about any aspect or question you may have about the procedures. Okay. But you may have questions about the academic aspects. Like, for example, is my profile a good fit for this master? what is exactly I'm going to learn, or what are the learning outcomes, what is this course I read about, what I'm going to learn there. If you have more academic questions, it's better you address yourself to the responsible person of this master, okay? So for May, BDMA and MDS, I am the person, and here you have my email as a Vice Dean of Postgraduate Studies. For each of the specializations of MIRI, you have a different person who are here. Josep Josa is also the responsible person for the European Master in High Performance Computing. As I told you, it's aligned with the intensification or the specialization in MIRI. And then for the Master in Secundària, it's the person responsible for it is Daniel Jimenez, and you have the email here. So now this is the longest block. The other points will be much shorter. Don't worry, I will not take you 1 hour for that. Some information about prices. The prices for the next year master is this. For our masters, we follow the decree that is published by the local government. So what I'm putting here is the prices from this current year, because the prices for next year, what you would pay if you come to one of our masters, it will be published in July. The good news is that it seems, and everything points to, that the prices will be these ones or even lower. So there is a commitment from the local government to even lower the prices. We already had a big drop in prices a few years, and they are still trying to lower it a bit more. No? So if you go for May, MIRI, MDS, or MAI, the price you are going to pay is 27 and something euros per ECTS. So you can do the math to see how much is going to cost the whole master, right? If you are not a non-European applicant, your cost is not fully subsidized, and then you need to pay the whole price, which is 41 euro. BDMA, for being a European master, has a different price. This is set by the European Commission, it's not set by us. That's why the price is higher. If you are applying as a European junior student, it's 75 euros per ECTS, otherwise 150. And one specific thing about BDMA is that not only European students take this price. If you are from Turkey, Macedonia, Iceland, Liechtenstein, Serbia, or Norway, you also pay as local students. Okay? Nevertheless, when the final prices will be published in July, following this link, you will find for each master the prices, but for the local ones, as I said, you can expect to be this one or even lower. Okay? An important thing about internships, and now I'm talking more about advices that I would give you as a person that I've seen many curriculums, evaluating many curriculums in international programs, because I'm also participating in BDMA and seeing curriculums from all over the world. When you start doing a master and you want to really have a strong career afterwards, either in research, in a company, or whatever, you need to build a strong CV. And when you need a strong CV, you need to be multidisciplinary, in the sense that don't make the mistake thinking that the only thing that people are going to look at is high marks. High marks are good, of course, but we want you to see that you are interested in doing many other things. So try to do internships, try to do research, try to participate in events that are interesting for you. If you have a second interest in many of the masters is interesting, especially in artificial intelligence or data science, if you're interested in other things, you never know how things can match up. And it's always interesting building strong profiles. So try to think, when you are going to apply to a master and you are going to decide what is your future academic path, try to think what you want to do and what areas you want to specialize, and try to choose the master that later, with additional activities, I mentioned these kind of things, you can then go to a company or to a research group and say, look at my CV, this is the added value I can bring compared to any other student. And what is the good thing about Phipp? That Phipp will give you very strong opportunities with internships, with research, with other activities. There are tons of things happening in this faculty every day. Just learn about them and build a strong CV. It will facilitate a lot your things, right? Mobility is another interesting thing. Companies and researchers like people who are exposed to more than one culture. Being exposed to more than one culture is important. It will change your way of thinking, your mindset, because you will see that things that are very important to you in another culture may not be, and then you will learn to be relative to things in life. Okay, and this is important, especially nowadays. Okay, so I will just go through these slides to give you how UPC or Phipp in this case is giving you very strong opportunities here. For internships, Phipp has a very nice setting to facilitate internships. It's what we call industrial practices. And in this website, if you go here, you have full information for the companies, for the students, and the regulations. This is a win-win situation because companies pay very few taxes when they hire you through an internship with this. And the win-win situation is that you have a minimum amount of money that you will get per hour. This is set by Phipp, and companies cannot play with it. They cannot bargain. The good thing is that our master's students are quite well considered. Companies typically do not bargain. They accept it because they know they are paying quite a low price for the quality that they are taking in our students, okay? So they do not consider or try to bargain or whatever. And if they try to bargain, the position of faculty is a big no in whatever sense, okay? So here you can follow the information about our industrial practices. Just to let you know that this is what we call CCE. If you see this acronym, this is what we mean. It's internships via this collaboration, university, and industry. You can do this internship in two different ways. For example, MDS allows you to do extracurricular practices. Do an internship that doesn't account as ECTS for the elective courses. MDS only accepts extracurricular practices except for the master thesis. Okay, in the master thesis is the only way that the MDS you can do curricular practices. In the other masters you can take curricular practices, and these are the rules. Okay, you can have minimum 6 ECTS, so you cannot go for less than 6 elective ECTS, and then you can take the whole master thesis as curricular practices as well. Okay, so in most of our masters, the master thesis is 30 ECTS, so in total you can do up to 36, right? 30 of the master thesis, 6 of elective courses, regular elective courses. The rule of thumb that you need to apply is that 30 hours is 1 ECTS. Okay, and the master thesis, you need to enroll it in modality B or D if you want to be accounted as curricular practices. But this is very useful. A very large share of our students do the master thesis in these modalities. Then for the working experience, if you want to recognize the working experience, no, sorry, this is not the work experience, sorry. This is the amount of hours you can do as an internship. So this is limited, okay? So as a rule of thumb again, you can do 900 hours of internship per year. This is the maximum that the faculty is going to set, because if you go above this, this could compromise your academic tasks, okay? So some masters are 90 ECTS, right? So those masters that are 90 ECTS, the third semester is meant to be the master thesis, so the 900 hours can happen during the first year, and then plus the master thesis in the third semester. The masters that are 120, MIRI and MDS, you can do a maximum of 1200 plus the master thesis. The only thing is that for MDS, the 1200 hours cannot be compensated as elective ECTS. Okay. Now, what I wanted to say, the professional experience, no? What if I already have a working contract? I'm not interested in doing an internship in the way of a CCE. So you still can recognize credits and then recognize elective credits, and the rule is this one. The working experience needs to be previous or during. Well, it cannot be future, right? So you need to have done it or be doing it. And the rule is 1600 hours are 6 credits. If you are above this, then proportionally you get the ECTS related to this working experience. Okay, just do the proportional rule and that's it. For mobility, so there are a lot of options. If you want to move, it's very easy. So nowadays the faculty has active for our masters 189 agreements. So it means that you may have up to 189 places where to do your studies. Plenty of options. No? When I talk to the students, sometimes they tell me that they have problems to know what criteria to put to filter out, no? Because there is a lot of options here. So these agreements are with 181 universities in 41 different countries. So you can study abroad 1 or 2 semesters, and here you have the conditions. Okay, for example, for MIRI, you can take the whole third semester abroad plus the 30 ECTS of the master thesis, so you can take the whole second year abroad. For May and May, you can only take one semester abroad, okay, because they are 90 ECTS, so you cannot take the whole year. But for MDS, again, you can take a whole year abroad, okay? So it means not only doing the third semester, but also the master thesis. What mobility programs do we have that allow you to move? Plenty. So you are covered almost worldwide. So we have the mobility programs with CERN, the organization in Switzerland, that typically happen in summer, this mobility. The Erasmus Plus, which is the framework set by the European Union, but even if it's Erasmus Plus, you can move to countries outside Europe. Typically, you have the misunderstanding that this only works inside Europe. No, Erasmus Plus works outside Europe and also to companies. Then we have frameworks that work for Latin America, United States and Canada, another framework that is with the National Institute of Informatics in Tokyo, so Japan, and then China. So roughly speaking, you can move wherever you want in the world, right? We have certain double degrees. Applying to our masters, we have one with a university in Peru that applies for May and May. And in MIRI, we have another one with Politecnico de Torino. Okay. Can I move abroad to do the internship? Yes, you can do an internship, or even you can do the master thesis in a company abroad. This is modality D. And then here you have, again, frameworks allowing this. Why is this interesting that you check these frameworks? Because many times these frameworks, like in the study abroad for regular academic, they have grants associated with it. You may have heard of it, of the Erasmus Plus grants, right? So you get some money per month to facilitate your mobility. It will not cover all the expenses, okay? But well, it's something. And then you can do other activities. There are activities like the Google Summer Coding event or things like that that you can do via our mobility and internationalization. This is one of the strong pillars of our faculty, so we have a whole website explaining all this. So once you are a student, what you need to check is the outgoing options here. This is meant for you, and double degrees if you are interested in a double degree. The difference between a mobility, regular mobility, and a double degree is that the double degree is longer, but then you get the title also of the place where you move. Important about mobility, the calendars are very early. If you want to move in 1 year, you need to do all the paperwork now. Okay, it's always very ahead. So that's why it's very important you consider this link here, the mobility calendar. In the mobility calendar, what you will find here is what calls are open now and you need to apply. This is a snapshot I took. For example, here the periods, it was the Google Summer of Code that you had to apply it from 4 April to 19 April, right? Or place application for foreign universities in the Erasmus Plus program, Latin America, CNDA, Canada, Russia, Taiwan, and China. They went in the second call. They have a different dates. You need to come here, know the program you're interested, and be sure not to miss deadlines. The only problem with mobility is that it's a bit bureaucratic. There is red tape to do, right? So don't miss it. That's the important thing. Since this can be a lot of information, what we always do is that we set 2 information sessions during the year. These sessions do not apply for you, okay? But I put them here because you can expect what are the dates they will take place next year. So we have one in the first semester, another one in the second semester. Roughly speaking, mid-November, mid-February, okay? And if you have doubts, I mean, the website is very, very complete because everything is there to facilitate you making your decisions. Still, you have a link here, an email, where you can ask whatever doubt you may have about mobility. But please consider it. I think it's interesting. I did mobility both in my bachelor, then during my PhD, and it's one of the things that I'm more proud of. They were very good and nice experiences, okay? There are some grants and aids as well. So there are grants that are specific of our faculty. So as I told you, the reputation of our faculty does that many organizations and private organizations, private companies pay to some of our students as a grants. Typically, if it's an organization, they do it for certain aspects. For example, there is some of them that prioritize people with disability just to help them to have opportunities, right? If it's a regular company, what companies want is that you do the internships with them, okay? So if you take these internships with companies, typically in the small letters that you need to check is that you will need to do the internship with them. And if you don't do the internship with them, you lose the grant. So check the small letters, the writing, right, just to be sure. For example, something that we agreed very recently is that these 3 masters from our school will be offering in the next month. So if you go to this website in the next days, we will make it available as soon as possible. There will be options to have financial aid from, for example, for May, 1 from Fundació Massó and 4 grants from Adebinta. Adebinta is a company. For May and MDS as well, 1 from Fundació Massó and 2 from Adebinta. And what is the point about it? The Fundació Massó, it's a non-profit foundation that if you meet the criteria, you will check it online, okay? And if you meet the criteria, they may just give you financial aid without any other commitment. Adebinta is a company, and as such, they are asking you to do the internship with them, okay? But it's an option, just check it, read the small letters, important, okay, just to be sure what you are applying to, and that's it. We will share these slides later, also the video, so don't worry if you didn't have time to check it or write down whatever. No? An important thing about the general grants, there is a kind of grant that is generic for Spanish citizens, so it doesn't apply for people who are not Spanish, okay? This is given by the Ministry of Education, and the thing is that this changed this year. That's why I put it here in red. Be sure to understand the new conditions. What are the new conditions? You now need to apply before 12 May, which is now, okay? Very early. This year they made it very early, okay? So be careful not to miss the deadline, because if you miss this deadline, you cannot apply for this grant for next year, in the whole next year. So what is the concern you typically have? I don't know which master I'm going to take to the 12th of May, right? Don't worry, it doesn't matter. If you check what they say is that before the 12th of May, you need to say, I'm interested in getting a grant if I take a master, if I take a master. So you don't need to know what master and not even be sure if you are going to take a master. The thing is that if you don't do it, you for sure don't have the option. So if you have doubts, apply. So there are 2 phases. In the first phase, they check your financial balance, let's say, and your marks. If you have green light, then in September, they will ask you, still on board? Do you want to do a master? And which master? So then is when you need to answer. So all the paperwork you need to do now, they will not ask you what master or anything, nothing. Okay, so just be sure not to miss it. So there is a video here and all the details that UPC is generating, because this is causing confusion this year in the students. And personally, I think that this deadline is very tight, and we risk that many people miss this deadline. So just check it there. About research and innovation, this is again one of the specific things that I think is one of the high value added value that Phipp provides. We are an institution very oriented to innovation and research, and there are a lot of indicators that show that we are very strong at it. No, for example, recently we were the top university in whole Europe, raising funds in the Ects 2020 project. Okay, so this is something. This is very competitive and demanding projects. So being leading here, it means that our research is really cutting edge, right? UPC also is leading in Europe and nationally far in things like creation of startups, spin-offs, technology transfer. We have a lot of agreements with companies where we are developing IT-related aspects of this. Here you have a link to know more about it. And another thing that I think we should feel proud of it is also that UPC has one of the strongest and biggest centers for development cooperation. So this is a center that tries for social good, trying to develop projects to help socially, not only here, but also in second and third world countries that may suffer from strong conditions. We have a very strong program there with a lot of interesting projects that if you are interested in social good, you may want to hear or check about it. Here you have the link. Always from an engineering point of view. All these projects are from an engineering point of view. So that's why I insist, complement your time in the master with added value tasks. And our researchers, the lecturers you will have, they are researchers. They are people working in top projects. They have a strong experience there, that they belong to different groups. And typically many times, if you like a course and you like a lecturer, don't hesitate to go there and say, do you have any grant or any internship that you may offer in any project? Because most probably this person will have an opportunity like that, okay? Most of our lecturers always have options. When you do research, you have two options to formalize it. With a CC agreement, the internship I mentioned before, same conditions, or with research grants. Research grants are specific for students, and again, they are paid, and it's a way to also later you can put in your CV and prove that you have been doing research. The research at Phipp spans many fields. This is a good thing about a polytechnic university. We have departments of whatever you can think of. Mathematics, business administration, computer architecture, physics, services and information systems, computer science, statistics and operation research, system engineering, automatic control and industrial informatics, whatever. Okay. And just to, I will not go into detail, but I wanted to list all the research groups just to see the large options you have here. I grouped them by categories, by the topic. It's 2 whole pages of groups that you can access to them via our masters. So there is a very strong innovation and research perspective in our faculty. Take advantage of it if you are into it, because this is a unique setting that you hardly will find in other faculties or universities. And finally, social life, right? So this is important as well. There is a strong community around UPC and Phipp, and there is a website where you can learn more about what we offer, but we have student associations that they do very nice work on promoting different aspects of interest for the students, and they cluster together and just promote different activities. Indeed, they do a lot of activities. For now, next Sunday is going to take place Hack UPC, which is organized by Hackers UPC, which is a huge event. Indeed, it's been systematically for many years the biggest hackathon in Europe, so this is quite something. And this is something that is not organized by the faculty or the university, it's the students themselves who lead these initiatives, and you have others like the Game Jam, so on. Aside, there are a lot of events happening here. Please get used to check our website or follow the social networks, because there are a lot of things that are happening, like the hackathon in the Beach per la Marató that happens in December for social good. A lot of events promoting certain things like Women in Data Science, the Top Secret Roses, a lot of summer schools, because we are into research and innovation, and most of our masters participate in summer schools that you may also get elective credits for this. Here is a master school in big data management and data science, but there are a lot of summer schools. Advanced factories, so events focusing in Industry 4.0. FIB Visiona that happened this week, and I don't know if you already went there, but FIB Visiona puts in contact companies with the students to just get professional experience. And in general, there are a lot of things going on that I think you should be aware of and participate. And finally, some questions that we are typically asked about, so I already compiled them here. So the first typical question is, I'm already finishing my undergraduate students, so can I apply? And of course, you can do that. So typically students finish the bachelor in July, right? So if you wait to finish the bachelor, you will be late. So what you need to do is to apply, and what we will be considering is your current transcripts, your current courses and what you already did. And then what we are going to ask you is that for the starting date of the master, you are done with the bachelor. But there is even an exception in this case. If for whatever reason you are finishing your bachelor thesis in October, still there might be the option to start the master before that, but for this exceptional case, you better contact us in InfoMaster's email, and we will let you know how to do that. The other question is, can I work and study at the same time? Big yes. I've been telling you that this is one of the things that I would personally recommend to that, like mobility and all these things. So some of our masters already allow you to create a path to reconcile work and academic tasks, like for example May in the industrial modality, right? And the last question is about next academic course. I think that we will be fully back to normal. This year has been fully back to normal, only with masks. Next year, most probably will be even without masks, like now and recently. And another question is that some students, typically those that are from abroad, they are concerned about the enrollment, because enrollment for our masters this year will take place the last week of July. And the current date that we are considering is the first month, the Monday of the last week of July. It means that you need to formalize your enrollment, but it's online. Okay, don't worry. So if you are on holidays or you are abroad or whatever, you can still do the enrollment without any problem. Enrollment is online. What may happen? That the Secretariat tells you, we need an original copy or a document or whatever. So you will do the enrollment online, and then when you come here in September to start the lectures, typically you will need to come to the Secretariat and bring the document that they are missing. Okay, so we are flexible in this sense to facilitate enrollment. But don't miss the enrollment the last week of July. This is important for us because we want you to know that you have a position in the master, you are set, you can go on holidays happily because you know what you are going, where to start, right? Without being concerned if you are accepted or not, enrollment done, and enjoying summer, right? And that's it. So this is the overall email for doubts. Although if you want to pose academic questions, remember to go to this slide where all the master's responsibles are listed. And now we will start a round of questions. We will start with people here sitting face to face. If you have questions, please just raise your hand and we will bring a mic to pose your questions. Now we will move then later for the online. So for the people online, we have two options. You can write your question in the chat and then later I will read the question and answer it. Or if you prefer to pose your question, just write question, the word question, and whenever I mention you, just activate your mic and pose the question. But we will start with people here face to face while you write your questions online. Eh? Yes, please.
For admissions decisions, how will applicants be notified? Will we receive an email, or do we need to keep checking the website?
I'm not 100% sure about checking the website. You know it for sure. Let me check if we have someone from the team in online. There is no one today. Okay, send us an email and we will answer this in the platform for sure. But it's a good question if you also receive an email or not. The thing is that there is a strong deadline to answer. For example, for people who applied in the 29th, we are going to answer today, and they were notified about it. So even if you don't receive the email, you know the day that you need to go online. And if we are late for whatever reason, because imagine that a master had a lot of applications and we estimate that we are going to be late, we send you an email informing you when the decision is going to be made. So even if you don't receive the email, we are communicating you this kind of information. Okay.
And during the, follow-up question. During the talk, you said for the first round of applications, normally the deadline is for notifications is today, the 29th of April, but you said it might be this week or next week. So if we don't hear anything today, we shouldn't worry?
No, because to which master did you apply?
The Master of Artificial Intelligence.
So did you receive an email telling you that maybe it's later, the notification?
No, I haven't. I haven't been checking yet, but I'm not sure.
So the thing is, if you don't receive it today, don't worry. Okay. Just send us an email. I know that the person responsible for this has been communicating the dates, but if for whatever reason you didn't, the Master in Artificial Intelligence is one of the masters receiving a lot of applications. So it's likely that today they cannot answer. So don't worry about that. Any other questions from the other people here?
Okay, I have some questions. Well, I have two of them that I think it can be considered from interest of everyone, and I have two of them that I want to ask you personally. If you don't,
you can come afterwards and we talk.
If you don't mind.
Yeah, of course.
These two ones are regarding the language requirements. For example, if we've been studying Catalan or Spanish since the beginning because we live here, we need to send some kind of document or...
No, in this case, I think that I think that it's pretty automatic, and in this case you don't need to do anything. So this is especially for people coming from abroad, that they need to certify Spanish or Catalan, and for the Masters in English, yes, you need to provide a certificate in English.
Okay. And the last question, the slides and the record of the video, where can we find this material? Are you going to send us an email with okay. Okay.
So in the next days. The thing is that we need to edit the video and it takes a while, but as soon as the video is edited and the slides are ready, well, the slides are already ready, but when we have the video, and then we will send an email. Since we have your emails when you registered, we will notify you so you can check them.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Any further question? No? So let's move then to the online. I will read the questions, okay, and then answer them. So we have first question from Ruben Quispe. He's asking, I'm a mechatronic engineer from Peru, but since 2018, when I did my master's degree in digital transformation at La Salle campus, Barcelona, the artificial intelligence course impacted me. Since the day I started doing a lot of research, so much so that I developed machine learning and deep learning projects. I'm also an artificial intelligence teacher applied to robotics in Peru. My question is, can I be accepted for the May at UPC? Because my dream is to do my PhD in artificial intelligence. So being a mechatronic engineer, you have some background that is covered. What the commission might have doubts about it is about your computer science background, okay? Remember that MIRI is one of the masters that acknowledges that you may have a gap in your background, and you can compensate it with some courses that you are asked to take. But in general, I would positively assess all the things that you're mentioning here, no? Because you already have a master in digital transformation, you have been working in real projects. So I think this is a case where I would simply explain all the things you did to the commission, and the commission will tell you if you need to do any complementary course to achieve or to be accepted in the master. But from what you're explaining, of course, the master in artificial intelligence, like the master in data science, both of them do not expect a fully strict computer science background. So we acknowledge that many of our students in these two masters come from other broader fields. So I would say explain clearly all the things that you may feel you are weaker because of your bachelor from the perspective of either strong mathematical background or computer science, how you cover it with the years, and still, if the commission still feels that you need to compensate something, what may happen is that in the acceptation you get conditional acceptance to accept that you need to take additional courses. Okay. If, of course, the commission says that your bachelor and the things that you did, they are completely out of scope, is when you get typically the reject. But I would say that with all the things you mentioned here, I would lean toward the other aspect, even if I cannot really make an assessment with what you are saying here. It's not, I cannot be thorough, just the feeling I get from what you are explaining. Let's move to the second question. It's from Evelyn Carmona. Hi, in the webpage of MIRI, I can see a specialization in data science. Is it correct? No, this is, it's correct because it existed in the past, but it doesn't exist anymore. It's because our master in data science started happening in September 2021. So before that, data science was a specialization inside MIRI, but it was pretty successful specialization, and that's why it was created as a regular master per se. So from September 2021, so as of now, if you want to apply to a master, you need to apply to the master in data science, okay? The next question is from Tomás Gea. Can I enroll into a master in the spring semester? And in that case, should I apply now and save my position for later? That's a very good question. So some masters allow it, some masters don't. So MIRI allows it, MDS and MI do not allow it. May allows it. So May and MIRI allows to start in spring, but not in MI or MDS. So about the second question is, what is better, to apply in spring or apply now and save the position? You can apply now and save the position, but what our regulation says is that if you are keeping a position, you need to inform the faculty, and the faculty can only keep this seat there for you for the next enrollment procedure. It means May and MIRI allows you to enroll in spring. So in September, you save your position. The latest you can enroll is in spring, otherwise you lose the position, okay? For MDS and MI, you can save it and then it's for the next year because they don't open in spring, okay? So hope I answered your question. The next one is Mauricio Sedano. Hi, Phipp Infomasters. 2 questions. How can I combine taking courses from the Master in Sociology at the UB? That's a good question. So the elective courses allows you to take courses, it depends on the Master, from other Masters at UPC or even other Masters somewhere else. This depends on the Master. I would say that most of them allow it. So the thing is that this needs to be enrolled as an elective course, okay? And you need to communicate to our faculty, to our secretariat, what are your intentions, and they will tell you exactly how to proceed, okay? And another question from Mauricio is, the grant deadline seems to be closed and are related to 2021, which might be an alternative for non-UE students. So they are closed, Mauricio, because still they didn't open for 2022. So in the next days and weeks, we will bit by bit start opening and updating all of these calls, right? So because typically what you do is that you get accepted into the Master or you apply to the Master and then you apply for the grant. This is the usual track. So we are at the beginning of the acceptations. That's why still we are not updating grants for 2022, but keep tuned to the URL I gave you, and sooner or later you will find the information there for all our own grants. We have another question from El Marquez saying, I'm a full-time employee in Valencia. Can I still take a master degree with Phipp? Well, our masters are face-to-face, so it means that you need to guarantee you are here to take the courses, right? Some courses, some masters are in the morning, some are in the afternoon, but I don't know if it's very feasible to travel from Valencia to Barcelona every day. At least I would not do it. I forgot to say that May and MDS are in the afternoons. MIRI is in the mornings. We try, yeah? No, it's not a 100% rule, but we try that the courses of these masters are either morning or afternoon. And it's difficult because since sometimes you need to move to another university, spread all over. Sometimes in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon. It's difficult to find this rule because it doesn't fully depend on Phipp. Jose Ramon Rodriguez is asking, could you please show your email again in case you want to contact you with any questions? Let me then, instead of keeping this slide, I will keep this one, right? So here you have besides InfoMasters, you have all the emails of the academic responsibles of each of these masters, right? So Jose Ramon, you can find them here. Anyway, we will share this as soon as possible. Jose Ramon is asking as well, is the email shown on the screen the right one to ask if our profile is suitable for the master? No. If you want to know if your profile is suitable for the master, is the academic questions. So depending on the master, you need to address the person that are now in the screen, right? InfoMasters is for procedure, administrative aspects, right? For what kind of document do I need to, how I certify English, these kind of questions, right? Mauricio is asking, my research subject is social impact, peace building, and perform as data science. Many of them, okay, it's not an answer, it's a statement. Okay, thank you, Mauricio. Alejandro, is it possible to add documentation? Well, Mauricio, I understand I answered your question, and now I'm doubting. I think, is this a continuation of your question, or just feel free to ask again if I didn't fully answer. I will move to Alejandro, who is asking, is it possible to add documentation to my first period application if I have not yet been notified of the result of my application? I know the answer of this because I had the question. This is an administrative question, but I know it because the answer is yes, you can always add new documents, but be careful because now the commissions have the documents already. So if you add something to your profile now, notify the Secretariat so they can warn the Commission that you are providing new evidences, because now all the commissions have the documents and they are working on the admission of the first period. So it may happen that you add the document, you will be able to do that, but nobody sees it. So be careful. Notify them, please. Another question from Juan Carlos Soriano. Good morning, I'm trying to look for the Master of Artificial Intelligence subject timetables, but it shows a warning saying first semester subjects not going on the current semester, which is logic. I just want to plan going to another place such Tarragona. There is a way to see the complete timetable. It should happen from the FIB Masters, I think, the FIB website, but anyhow, I can answer what you're saying, because for example, this year, people were going to Tarragona on Thursday. So all the lectures that were taking place in Rovira Virgili, URV, were compacted on Thursday. So the students were supposed to move to Tarragona on Thursday. Then the rest of the days they were in Barcelona, either at UB or UPC. For the timetables, well, let me, I think it's, because I will not be able to open it. But if you go to the FIB website, not the Master's website, because the Master's website is thought for more information than general information, that specific details. You go to the FIB website and then you go to the Master, you will see that there is an option for all the Masters, which is timetables. Just choose there the courses and you will see the timetable. What may happen is that they only show you the ones from this semester. This is where I'm hesitating. Is this the case, Monse, or it is the case? So Monse is now typing the address, the specific address where you can find this information, but obviously it's now for the second semester. For this first semester, I think there is no way not to check it now. No. So Juan Carlos, just contact us if you have further information, and this is not exactly what you need. For the first semester, I can tell you that the day that they were traveling to Tarragona was Thursday. Mauricio Sedano is asking, I understood your answer, many thanks. The problem is that programs in artificial intelligence are oriented to science, business or finance, not to social impact. I visit Barcelona in January and find not link between Master in Sociology at UB and the MI Master program at UPC. I applied to both programs. I'm waiting for an acceptation to MI, and I need support for building the link between the programs. For example, in natural language processing for peace index data in building. Let me advise you a couple of things in this sense. So there might be the case that when UPC checks specifically this course with UB, it's possible or not to be taken as an elective course. This is something that they need to explore, because you may be interested in any course in any master, right? And we need to see if this is an option or not. So it may happen that this is not an option as an elective course, right? So what can you still do to learn on this topic? Remember, the master theses are pretty interesting in our masters because they are pretty big. In is the only one, it's not 30 CTS, it's either 12 or 18. Now I hesitate, but it's smaller than 30. And the point is, I would suggest you that you contact the lecturer that you are interested in this topic from UB and do your master thesis together with someone at UPC and people at UB. This is a pretty natural setting for us because we are very much research oriented with a very much innovation and research mindset. So I think you might find someone at UPC interested in this topic that could be interested in doing an agreement or a collaboration with someone from UB, and the perfect setting where you for sure you will be able to work on this is the master thesis. So even if you are not able to choose this course as an elective, still you can push for this in the master thesis. Evelyn is asking, where could we find the recording of the video? By email next week. Yes, by email next week we will communicate. Irene Campillo is asking, subjects in semester 2 and 3 of MI are elective. Is there also the possibility of doing Modality Impresa if you are a MI student? You can simulate it, okay? Because MI allows you to recognize credits from your working experience and also from internships. So you can take, I think, 12 ECTS in this way from the elective ones. So it's up to you to distribute these working and internships throughout the semesters. You can do it as you want. Another interesting thing that you may want to know is that all of our masters, I think that they accept part-time students. So part-time students means that you are not forced to enroll 30 ECTS per semester, but 18. So for example, if you go for part-time, enroll 18 ECTS, and then you take internships or whatever, you can simulate in the end the modalitat empresa from May. Is it clear, Irene, what I mean, right? So in the end, there are the means to simulate it with part-time plus internships and working experience. Okay. So that was the last question. I don't know if there is any further question either here or online. Okay. Oh yes, last one. Can you decide to become a part-time student, from example, at semester 2? Yes. You can move after starting the master. You can move to be a part-time student. And this is pretty usual, right? Because many students start without working, but they start working or doing research during the master and then naturally move to the part-time modality. Any further question? You're welcome, Irene. Okay, so thank you very much for your interest in our programs. Thank you very much for attending this this talk. If you have any doubt, please do not hesitate to contact us. We will be happy answering all your questions, so you can make an informed decision about our masters. And again, thank you, and hopefully see you from September on. Have a nice day. Bye for now.